So previously on Building Jay's Way, I built this sweet bed frame, and now it's time to finish it off. So today we are going to build the boxes, crates, whatever you want to call them, to go into these spots to add more storage. And I think it's going to be awesome. So let's get it. Okay, so along with having to process all that pallet wood to make my slats, I also need something. So this is kind of a mock-up of what the basket's going to look like. And I got to get some certain numbers and everything, but it'll have Advantech on the bottom. I think I'm going to borrow a piece of Advantech from Jamie's, the yellow Advantech, and put the yellow down so that the grain side's up. And then in the corners here where the slats are going to come together, I need something to nail to. So I got all this cut off material. I don't even know where it came from. But Jamie gave it to me, and I've been using it for firewood for camping. It's been great. But now I'm thinking that I could probably process that down to look something like this. Is cool. This is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and I can sand that down and stain that. And that would be perfect, you know, for this area. All right, so I started doing some calculations downstairs, getting some ideas of how I want these things to look and the size of them. So this is about the look it's going to be. I started mocking one up just so I can kind of see how it's going to look. Obviously, these are not going to be there, and these are going to be at the edges. But I just want to make sure these kind of corner pieces I'm making, I don't want them to protrude up and above. So I think just a little bit down. So I think that'll work out well. It looks like I want 14 5/8 is about the number I'm looking for as far as the height this way. Okay, so I got these wheels on Amazon. They're not swivel. I don't think I wanted swivel just because if I pull it out and I go to put it back in, I don't want it swiveling around. I want it to come out and then come back in straight without having to go all crazy. So these measure like somewhere like 1 inch, 1 1/8 or so. So if you take 14 5/8 minus 1 1/8 inches, I'm at 13.5. In between here, I got a 1/2 inch spacer. I thought that was good. I don't want too big of gaps because I don't want to see all the clothes and crap that's in there. But I also don't want it jammed tight. I do want some space in there. So I think that looks good. I got my Advantech here in the bottom. As you can see, I just cut a scrap piece off. So I have my Advantech. I have these pieces that I made here. Again, these were 12.5, which I think will be good. These nails are a little bit long, but I'm just pegging this thing together. And then what I did is I did 4 slats, and these are at 3 inches. That was one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 more. Sanding them down, just hitting them with some 80, 60 grit or whatever this is, just to knock any big stuff off. Again, I don't really care what it feels like inside or whatever. It's just, I don't want any big splinters or anything or gouges coming out. So I'll get all these sanded down, and I'll get them all cut down to the 12.5. And then once I get them all cut down, I'll go ahead and poly them all. I have all my material here sanded down, ripped down to the 1.5. One good thing is I got a lot of kindling. So next is to cut it down to the 12.5. So I got my little station set up here. I got my Dewalt chop saw. I got my vacuum system, my Dewalt vacuum system back there. And so all I'm going to do is, and what I did is I made a stop here, as you can see. I don't want to have to measure each one of these. I'm cutting a lot of them. So to measure each one, they're not all going to be the same if I'm off a little bit. So I just made a positive stop here. So none of these ends are going to be square. So my first thing I'm going to do is just square up an end. Like that. And then I'll just simply push it up to my stop. I don't want to slam it up there because if I keep slamming it and slamming it and slamming it, it's going to end up moving because I just have it clamped down. So So I'm just going to give a nice push to my stop there. Make sure I'm up against my fence back there. And find my tape measure. Why can't I never find anything? Find my tape measure. Here it is, Stephanie's tape measure. And we have 12.5. Beautiful. So I just need to do that like 30 more times or so, and I'll have all these done. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. All right, so I got 2 extra. That'll be good because I actually have a whole nother piece that I could cut down as well. But that'll be good in case some of these aren't all perfectly straight. Again, this is all just cut off remnants of stuff. So some may be, so if I can switch one of those out, that'll be good. And one thing you did see is when you're doing this, is every once in a while I rechecked my measurement just to make sure that I didn't like slam it or something moved or anything happened. So you don't want to cut all 30 of these things and then realize after the second one, you know, something moved and now you're cutting them all the wrong length, which would be something I would do. So I got all those down. What I'll probably do is, you know, some of these, as you can see on the ends here when I cut them, it leaves a little bit of some furries. So what I'll do is I'll probably just take a piece of hand sandpaper and just run over and just clean them up real good. And then I'm going to set up some type of painting station, I guess, and I'm going to put some poly on these things. Get these things going, poly, drying up, and then start processing all that. If you'd like to help, come on by. I'd love some help. So as you can see, I was going to try to roll this poly on, but I think it's just too much. I think it's too much of a pain. It kind of frosts up a little bit. So I think I'm just going to have to go back to the old school back again and just paint it on with a brush. And again, I only need to do one top. I need to do either the top or the bottom, whatever one, because one side will be down on the Advantex and the other side you'll see. So I'll need to paint one side. And I got a little sticker thing set up here so that not too much poly sits on flat. So I'm hoping I can just paint all 4 sides, dry it up there, and it'll be good to go, hopefully. One of these things doesn't look like the others. I was wondering what that one was. I was painting. It's too small. That must have been one of the cutoffs. So now I'm down to 31, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33. I mean, yeah, one extra. Woo! Guys, you know what time it is? It's summertime and it's getting freaking hot. And as you guys know, I love working with great products. I like working with good companies. So VEVOR, we've done work with them in the past. We did Nana's TV room there. We did the fireplace in there. And the product is awesome. She loves it. So when VEVOR reached out to me to do another ad, I was like, I'm on board. And especially when I saw what they wanted me to promote was this evaporative air cooler. I was like, yes, I'm on board 100% because we're outside a lot. We do a lot of things outdoors. We love to camp. It's always hot when we go camping. Even if it's just outdoors, coming home from a hard day's work, sitting on the patio and relaxing for a second, I thought this thing could be awesome. And then I showed it to Steph and she was like, you know what, our room even gets really hot. Again, we're in the basement, so we don't get a lot of forced air down there. So when we saw this, we were like, wow, that could actually work even in our basement. So we're on board 100% with this product, and I think it's pretty awesome. This swamp cooler, that's what they call it. It can cool, it can blow, it can humidify. To keep you comfortable during the hot weather. And also it's pretty portable. It's got handles on the side and wheels to make it easy to roll around the deck or roll around the campsite to make sure that the water doesn't splash around and overflow. Another thing I really like about this portable air cooler is that you can actually hook a garden hose right up to the back of it for constant water supply. It's got a huge 9-gallon tank to keep filled up, but with the garden hose attached to it, you don't have to keep worrying about it running out of water and keep filling it from the top. Constant water all the time, no stoppage. Awesome. You can manually adjust the vertical angle of the louvers for maximum comfort, and also automatically swing horizontally from 0 to 72 degrees, ensuring that you can feel the cool breeze from any corner of the room or the patio or the campsite. They also provide 4 ice packs that you just stick right here in the top. That makes the air even cooler. Hey, don't worry, I didn't forget about you guys. I'm gonna hook you guys up. Go ahead and use this discount code here, VVPRO, to get 5% off this awesome evaporative air cooler, swamp cooler, air cooler, whatever you want to call it. This thing's pretty awesome. So again, thanks to VEVOR for sponsoring today's video. Again, we couldn't keep this channel going without awesome companies like you, so I appreciate it. Let's get back to doing some work, I guess. I don't know. Well, that didn't take long for Nana to steal my VEVOR. You enjoying that?
Yes, it's wonderful.
So, ripped apart those 2 pallets pretty quick. Again, these are the thin ones, and I'm going to use these for all the backs because you're never going to see them, so it doesn't matter. Because I don't think I have enough of the thicker ones. And going through my sheet here, it looks like I need 32 of the thin ones. And so because I can get at least 2 per of these, that means I need 16 of these good ones. And I think I definitely have that for sure. I think I have about 20 some. So I can kind of go through and pick and choose which ones I want. Now, I did sawzall these apart. Jamie actually has a breaker bar thing that he made for pulling these apart. But what happens is it pulls the nails through. And then there's holes everywhere. So some people like that. I prefer actually to have the nails in there. I think it looks a little bit more rustic, a little bit cooler. So that's why I sawzall all mine off. So I'm going to take all these now. I'll get them ripped down to 3 on the old Bosch there. And probably go ahead and just cut them down to the size I need. Most people would probably process all the material first, then rip it all down, then cut it up. But to me, this kind of breaks up the monotony of doing all of it together. Okay, so because I'm not going to use this whole piece, like I said before, I don't want to sand all of it down because that's just a waste of sanding because it might have a crack in it or might be something that's not good to use. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut them all down first and then go back and sand them all down and then polish them. I think that's going to be my best case scenario. I got another jig set up here. Again, to keep my 17 3/4. All right, that's a lot of pallets, a lot of pickets, whatever they're called, slats, pickets, I don't know. I need 32 at 17 3/4, and I need 64 of them at 16 1/4. And because these things are not as long as the other ones, these are just over 3 foot long. I'm afraid that if I try to get both the 17 3/4 out of one, I might hornswoggle myself. So what I think I'm going to do is, because some of these ends are pretty nasty, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it. I still have my block set at 17 3/4. I'm going to cut all the 17 3/4 ones I need, 32 of them, out of one of those. And then I will go back and take the remainder and do the 16 1/4 with whatever's left on there. And hopefully I have enough left over. So I have about 12... I think I had about 12 or 16 extra pickets or pallet slats or whatever they're called to work with. So I should have enough. So I'm going to do that, get all my thick ones at 17 3/4 cut, and then go back and do all the 16 1/4. Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? I've been doing it all day. Picket, pallet, picket. I got some over there, all dried up, ready to rock and roll. I'll tell you what, now I know why I normally just burn these things. Oh man, what a pain. But I got everything processed down, ripped down, and cut down. Now I still have to sand all the ones I just did now, like 199,000 of them. Still have to sand those down and poly those, but tomorrow's another day. I think I'm done for today. I gotta get this garage cleaned up. There is one good thing about ripping apart all these pallets and everything is that all the leftover crap I get to burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn. Got everything cleaned up. I feel way better. There's so much junk and clutter and sawdust and boards in the way. So I got all cleaned up. I feel great. What an awesome day. So productive. I miss not working, you know, not making money. But hey, you know what? Days like this, I take advantage of them. And it just worked out perfect. And I'm going to get back at it tomorrow. But right now I'm going to go down and probably sit down and have a soda. Maybe. Time to make the donuts. It's like Groundhog Day, dude. All right, so I'm back at it, and I have to sand all that. And yesterday my hand was killing me, so I kind of made a little thing here. I got this thing clamped down and screwed down here. I think I'm going to try to make this work. I don't know if it's going to or not, but holding it like that sucks. So let me see how this might work. Definitely not as precise as I could get it with by hand, but I think for this, I think I'm going to roll that because holding it was killing my hand yesterday, and I got to do a lot of boards. So I'm going to try this and see how it works. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I guess I have to because I'm the only one here. But that worked pretty freaking awesome. I'll tell you what, I just knocked those out, and my hands feel great. A little vibration-y, vibrated-y, whatever that word is. But I think that was sweet. So much better than holding that thing in my hand. But for some strange reason, I'm missing one of the long ones. And I have no idea how. Unless somebody took it last night and like made some wood out of it or something. I don't know. So I gotta make one more, and then it's time to poly these things. That'll be fun. And done. So time to cut this Advantech down that I got from JMO. And I'm just trying to make sure I got the right size. So this is the front slats, and they're 17 3/4. So that's going to be the full length. So I want this to be that minus whatever the width of these two boards are. And these two boards stuck together measure 1.5 inches. So that's going to be 17 1/4 minus 1.5 inches. So that means those are going to be 16 1/4 going that way. And then this one's going to be whatever the length of these are, because these are the sides. It's kind of hard to show, but I'll show you once I have it kind of going together. But I'm thinking 16 1/4 by 16 is what I want the Advantech to be. So I'm going to cut a piece of that. I know it's 16 for sure. It's got to be, because that's the width of these. So I'm going to rip a big thing of 16. I'll cut one down 16 1/4. I'm not going to cut them all up yet. I'm going to cut one down, kind of prefab, build this thing, just so that I know I'm building it right and I don't waste all this Advantech. Alrighty, so it's time to put this first one together. I got this thing cut down, and I think it's right. This one actually did seem a little bit long in the back, so I don't really know why, but worst case scenario is I'll just have to trim it, I guess. I don't know, but maybe some are longer than the other ones. I don't know. Let's put this thing together and see kind of what happens. So again, because this pallet wood is not perfect, it's kind of, you know, it's got some bends and twists and things. I am having to sometimes pull it together. And I don't know if this is a pro tip or not. And I don't even know if I ever knew this, but I have these Irwin clamps. And this one clamp wasn't long enough, but all I did is I just put another clamp with it. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's something I should have used before, but I didn't. I feel like I've never done this before. So you just put this one out to full length and then just put another clamp on it and just toot, 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 and that clamps it in tight. I don't know. It might be stupid. Everybody might know it, but I feel like I've never done it before. I don't know. Box number one, I think it looks pretty freaking awesome. Very sturdy, everything fit together as it should. I do have to do something here where I need to figure out something to cut a notch in that or something so I can stick my hand in it. I'm gonna ask Steph to see what her thoughts are and what she thinks that should look like, if it should be squared up or if it should be rounded. But I'm gonna take it downstairs and see if it fits. And if it is, I just got 7 more to build just like this. No big deal. I think it's awesome. Let's go check it out. Okay, there's the first one in, and I think it's awesome. I think it's gonna look perfect. Sorry about my bed, it's a mess. Stephanie's gonna kill me. But yeah, I think it's sweet. Dude, I'm spent. Oh my gosh. I've never done shift work before, but if I had to guess, that would be what it's like. I mean, it was like 8 hours of just the straight, constant, same thing over and over and over again. So for any of those men and women out there that do shift work, I applaud you, because I don't know if I could do it. It was a lot on me, but I am super stoked on how these things turned out. I couldn't be more happy. I really couldn't. I mean, there's imperfections. There's nothing. Some things are not perfect, but I think they look awesome. I think they're a fine mix between craftsmanship and just rustic looking, which is cool. I think it's going to be an awesome contrast to the bed frame, the color of the bed frame and the natural. I think it's going to look awesome. And talking to Stephanie, we did decide that we are not going to do any handles on the front. I'm just going to do like a little moon-shaped thing there where you can reach your hand in. All right, so I think we talked about this a little bit. I guess it would have been yesterday. But I want to do some type of handle in here. And I tried to pound this out to try to make something, but it's not the best. So what I did is you can see I have a couple lines there. I did a couple test these there, but I think what I'm going to go with, and if that's still in frame or not, no. I'm really good at this YouTube thing. And I'll show you a top view, but what I did is I just took this bucket here and I made marks where it's going to go. You can see I got little ticky marks here. So I'll just mark that middle to the middle, put that tick on the end, put that tick on the end, draw a little mark, and that way it'll be the same cut for all of them. Sorry about the noise there. Pop-Pop's cutting the grass. Got my landscaping crew out here cutting the grass. So last night, Stephanie got home. She's like, oh, let's put the baskets in. Let's put them in. Let's put them in. And I said, no, you got to make sure everything's right. I had to cut the handles in them before we put them in there. She's just super excited the way they look, to see how they look inside the bed frame. And then also the edges of the bed frame, there I need to stain, because I was going to put trim on them, but I think what the problem is there is that if I put a piece of trim on that, the handle or the basket's going to hit the trim. So I'm not going to put any trim. I'm just going to stain it nice and dark on the edges. And then with these in there with the contrast, I think it's going to look awesome. So let me get down there with my special walnut there and hit the edges of these. Got a little change of plans. So this was what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to take a piece of trim board like that and stick it up there. But I don't like the way how far it sticks out. I think it looks stupid. So what I did is I kind of wrapped it out the back or whatever you would say. And I'll show you how I'm going to do it on the table saw there. And then, so that way I'm going to set it on top like that. And I know it's not a huge difference, but I think it not sticking out as far is kind of what I like. I don't like how far it was sticking out right there. So I prepped up some new boards, and I'm going to go up and do that to all of them. And then put those in just around the border there. All right, well, here's my test piece. So all I did is I put that up to 1.5 inches because I want like a 2-inch reveal, you'll call it, up on the bed. So I went to 1.5 inches there. And then I made, you can see, Arlo taught me this trick, is I made a mark on the thing here. So I just put this to where that's going to go. There it is right there. And that was my first cut this way, like that. And then I just brought this out to my other spot there. And I take my blade and I go down to the height, you know, of that, and then just run it this way. And that just cuts out a square out of there. Don't worry about that, Mark. That was a mistake. It just cuts out a little notcher there. And then again, that's just going to fit like that on my bed frame. The last time we left off here, I think I was talking about doing this trim. And I talked about doing some type of trim like this so that the bed wouldn't move. And then I was talking about doing something like this, where I put it on like that and it went up and it helped the bed from moving. But I showed Stephanie that and she said, no. She said she didn't like it, which is perfect for me because that means I don't have to do any more work. She said she kind of likes it with just the black and the rustic, and the bed is so heavy that it doesn't move. No matter how hard you try, it doesn't even move. So I think it's golden like that. So I think we're just going to leave it like that, and it looks fantastic. Another thing that we have here that you might see is from some of the other shots, the mattress or the sheet never covered the whole mattress. So thanks to Donata, one of Stephanie's longtime friends who lives in South Florida, she's a little bougie. We now have these beautiful, expensive hotel style sheets, Primo or something, whatever they're called. But
it's called the Hotel Collection.
Yeah. And we got them from Macy's, and they are nice. I'm not going to lie. They actually feel really nice. And the thing is that they cover the whole mattress, which is fantastic. So thanks, Dee, for helping me spend some more money. I appreciate that. But they look great. I think this is finished. Let's put the crates in there and get some final shots.
Hey, What are you doing laying down on the job? Get up. This ain't Jamie and Eric's job site.
Sorry,
Come on,
man.
buddy.
Come on, I'm tired. That was hard work, but I think it turned out fantastic. What do you think? You love it?
Yeah, I love them.
I mean, I love it too. Super practical, modern, rustic, all that wrapped up into one. And,
Plus, it's way cheaper than having to buy furniture.
yeah, and it's way cooler. I mean,
I think
awesome.
so.
So again, guys, hey, thanks for checking out the video today. Do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps me out huge. Make sure you like all the videos. Make sure you ring that bell so you get notifications of future upcoming videos. And again, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.